And one of the fond memories growing up was in my neighborhood. We there's this house across the street where a couple of the dads in the block would just hang out and they just have a couple beers or whatever and just kick it in the driveway, and they would say hi to anyone that was passing by. So when my friend and I were either leaving our house or my house to go to his house around the corner, or vice versa, coming back, if one of the dads was there, his name was Amos. If he was there and he had already been drinking, he gets loosey-goosey pretty easily from what it seemed like. And, he would like call out to us and he'd be like, "Popcorn players." And it was just like, it's not like I don't think he hated us or anything. It was almost like a term of endearment. We'd be like, "Hey, what's up, Amos?" We would go over there and just kind of like talk to him for a bit, chat it up. And then we're like, all right, we got to go. But yeah, that was always his nickname. It was always for my friend and I, Skylar. We're kind of like inseparable friends or whatever, like best friends on the block.
Dynamic duo.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. And so, it was always just us two walking around, and he'd be like, "Popcorn players." that was just his nickname for us. Yeah, I always thought it was hilarious. Thinking back now, I don't know. It's just so funny because back then it was just something that he called us and we didn't think anything of it, but kind of explaining it, I was telling Brenda about that experience, and she's like, "What the heck? That's so weird." And to me, I didn't think it was weird. I was like, "No, it's normal."
Yeah, he's just chill.
My sister, she was a huge cat fan. She, when she moved out, she always said, "I can't wait to have my own cat. It's going to be awesome." And she finally did. So she got her cat. Her name is Holly. And she happened to get the most evil cat ever created.
Serves her right.
Yeah, this thing is like, it's never been friendly, even from a little kitten, and doesn't like anything, just wants to be alone. And it's one thing if she's aggressive towards strangers, that can kind of be passable. But she's aggressive towards my sister and her husband.
Oh, man.
Just as aggressive as the day she came home. She's never chilled.
Zero chill.
When my sister used to be at her apartment, this cat would just try to like sneak attack people, just unprovoked. So if you're just chilling on the couch or like standing in the living room or something, it would come up and like swipe at your ankles, like hiss and like run away. And you're like, "What the fuck was that?" I felt like it wasn't ever really quite domesticated. This thing seems kind of feral to me.
Yeah.
It got to the point finally where it bit and attacked Steph and Andrew one too many times. And now...
R.I.P.
Even though I didn't have a better relationship with this cat, knowing that this cat was with them for so many years and then now is just going to go to the sanctuary and kind of grow old and, pass away there. It's just kind of sad, because with dogs, I know that'd be devastating because they're just so loyal and that's part of the pack.
Yeah, I get you. This cat Holly, I just can't help but see this montage right now of set to, of course, Sarah McLachlan's "I Will Remember You." I will remember you. As she's like, is it showing like slow motion videos of her like fucking just
attacking,
swiping
like,
people,
like feral face and just
like hissing with so much like bloodlust, just going for gusto, just fuck you, like, "Will you remember me?" Just like making connections.
I don't even think Steph and Andrew are sad that Holly's leaving, but man, I never thought that I would be the one to be sad that Holly's not there anymore.
No. They looked at it and they're like, "Bye, Felisha."
Straight up. I like how you did that. All right. We mobbing it.
Hit it.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Aflixionados podcast, episode 13. My name is Eric, and the other voice occupying your head this time is my good friend, colleague, and co-host, Michael.
Yo. What it do, baby boo?
That's like your catchphrase now. Thank you to all the listeners out there for joining us. Available on all major podcast streaming services, with new episodes dropping on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. Aflixionados is a monthly podcast where we primarily talk about films that range from mind-numbing to mind-blowing. We may also cover TV shows or other forms of media. It goes without saying we will be getting into spoilers here, and there will be only the healthiest amount of expletives tossed in. You have been warned. Now, if you ain't ready, then get ready, because in today's episode, we will be discussing the comedy classic Friday.
Friday. It felt right. I don't know why.
It's Friday. Craig and Smokey must come up with $200 they owe to a local drug dealer, or there won't be a Saturday. Now, with this film, I have a lot to say about this film. I'm really excited. This film was the directorial debut of director F. Gary Gray, who was previously known as a music video director. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't know that.
Mm-mm.
This movie came out in 1995. You know what, Gray? He directed such music videos as It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube, Natural Born Killers by Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, Keep Their Heads Ringin' by Dr. Dre, which is in this film.
Ring, ding, dong. Yeah.
Keep Their Heads Ringin'.
That's
And
right.
Waterfalls by TLC, or also known as Jason Waterfalls.
That's right, man. Don't go Jason Waterfalls.
I always thought it was proper noun, Jason Waterfalls.
Yeah, don't
Like that's
go
a real name.
Jason. Yeah, man. They were in love. All three were in love with Jason.
This guy named Jason.
What's he got that I don't?
And another notable music video that Gray directed was Miss Jackson by Outkast.
Oh, classic.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he has quite the portfolio with theatrical films as well, having also directed The Italian Job, Be Cool, Law Abiding Citizen, Straight Outta Compton, and even The Fate of the Furious, aka Fast and Furious 8.
Boom.
Not too bad, right?
Yeah, I'm digging it.
And the main goal of this film, as I understood it, was they wanted to show a different side of the hood, which always seems to be more focused on like being violent and menacing. So Friday is more of a buddy comedy with even some categorizing it as a stoner flick. But to me, I wouldn't even really consider it a stoner flick. Would you? Sure, there's smoking in it, but to me, stoner flicks are more when weed is the main element of the plot. But in this one, I think it's heavily showcased in the film because I felt like it was portrayed as as just one of the many elements.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could, yeah, but I could see it more as, what did you call it again?
A stoner flick?
A stoner flick, yeah. I could see it that way because although they weren't necessarily both stoned, Smokey definitely was mostly stoned. And
all the time. When was he not?
And the whole reason why they owe $200 is because they smoked this weed. So, so I feel like, I guess technically on that front, yeah. And now, is it like a half bake situation? Nah, it's not quite like that.
Or even a Cheech and Chong,
or Cheech and Chong, right? Where they're just like gone. But I will say that in Cheech and Chong films, trouble ensues, of course, when they have smoked too, overconsumed, and they're just like out of it. And then obviously hijinks as well. So that's what basically happens, is all sorts of stuff goes haywire once they've
hey, spoiler alert, there's no such thing as too much.
Spoiler alert, just go to sleep. That's what happens.
Exactly. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh, who both wrote this film, drew on their personal experiences when crafting the characters and plot points, which I thought was pretty interesting. So I feel like a lot of these scenes happening in the movie, these events happening, I felt like a lot of them are anecdotal, and I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that feels pretty real. They do feel like some pretty real life situations, thinking namely of his dad in the morning. Whew.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I can't wait because I have a lot to say about that. But before we get into that, I want to get your thoughts on Ice Cube as an actor. How do you feel about Ice Cube?
How do I feel about Ice Cube as an actor?
Do you think he's a pretty good actor, or do you feel like, not really your cup of tea?
I mean, I guess I would say it depends on the role. don't say I can't say I've seen a whole bunch of his movies, but he killed it in this role. I thought that it was funny. I was actually impressed. There were times where I forget that he's, you know, I don't know. I just see him as the character himself in this movie, and there, I don't know. It's kind of funny because I'm thinking to
Just
myself,
playing himself.
here's this tough guy, this member of NWA and all that, and I'm like, here he is, like able to laugh at himself. It's pretty remarkable because it's just like, just just normal dude, just like chilling in the hood, whatever. I don't know. I thought thought it was pretty good. So yeah, if I had to say, I like him in that. I liked him in 21 Jump Street as well.
Oh, freaking hilarious! Like one of the best parts in that movie,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, Ice Cube. I feel like early on he was kind of typecast as that like tough guy because he does have that that resting bitch face almost. Like he
Right. I
just
mean,
looks
and
mean and menacing all the time.
I think by design, I think that's like, yeah, he's like, don't fuck with me. But but yeah, I mean, he was before this movie, he was in Boys in the Hood, which
Boys in the
was
Hood.
like this was like, menace to society type. I mean, it was like raw, like
It was a drama.
serious drama, precisely drama in the hood. So this is
Yeah,
like a lighter side of that, like you were saying, and this is just a different version of Cube.
I think having played in Boys in the Hood, he still wanted to portray the hood, but yeah, like as I was saying earlier, they wanted to show the lighter side. There is joy to be had in the hood,
Right, we're
believe it
not
or not.
always shooting each other.
Contrary to what people may believe,
Yeah.
they have some good times, and so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
what they want to focus on with this one.
Oh, my neck and my back.
And I think the first time I saw Ice Cube act was actually in All About the Benjamins. Have you seen that movie?
That movie is hilarious. Shout out to Mike Epps because he killed it in that role too. That movie is, yeah,
I think Ice Cube
that's a
plays more of
classic.
the straight man in that one.
He
Like he's
does.
just
He
kind
does.
of like reacting to Mike Epps, but yeah, they're both fucking hilarious. Because what I really like about uh, Ice Cube is he just has great delivery. Whether that's
Oh,
serious or whether it's comedic, I just love his delivery with his lines.
every time. Yeah, absolutely. That whole bye Felicia. Just man.
And how you were mentioning, just now that not you haven't seen a lot of his movies, and I can definitely say I've seen some, and not all of them are great. So, what wasn't there one where he was like on Mars or something like Ghost of Mars? That movie fucking sucked. I forgot what it's called. I don't even want to look it up.
Yeah,
It's not even worth my time.
there's no acting job that can resurrect a movie called what the hell was that movie again? Ghost Smart. He was in Anaconda, and that movie sucked. I mean, that
Just in
movie really
general.
did. In general, and now, excuse me, if you want to see it as like a snakes on a plane kind of thing, where it's kind of campy. I mean, it is kind of
Cheesy.
campy. This is kind of, yeah, cheesy. Then it's not so bad. Then it doesn't really suck. But if you're looking for some acting, if you're looking to see him show his acting chops, I wouldn't really reach for that movie. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he has that charisma, that I really
He does.
appreciate, and he really shines. Honestly, if I had to choose between having him in dramas or comedies, I just think he's excellent in comedies. Love the delivery.
Yeah, yeah, and his delivery is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, there's just so many moments I'm thinking of now. This was my first time actually seeing Friday all the way through. I'd seen clips and stuff as kids, we walking through, somebody might be watching it, but
Oh, it
if
was
I
halfway
if I
through.
didn't catch it from the right, if I didn't catch it from the very beginning, I was like, "Oh, it just doesn't maybe I didn't stick around for it because I don't quite know exactly what's going on with the plot and all that stuff." So,
Hmm.
yeah.
You know what? Even that hilarious opening line, which I guess you always miss because you're always jumped in halfway in the movie,
Yeah.
but man, that line from Smokey, played by Chris Tucker. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get you high today. It's Friday. You ain't got no job, and you got shit to do. That line's a classic, and that
Yeah.
line pretty much summarizes this whole movie in just a couple seconds. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah. It does. It sets the tone. You kind of get an idea what's.
that's even before anything starts. Even before it shows like the production company logos or anything, it's just black, and all you hear is Smokey saying that line, and then the music starts kicking in.
Yeah,
I thought it was a great way to start the movie. Like you said, sets the tone.
it does. You realize it's gonna be pretty chill.
And also, what I wanted to say really quick, the first shot of the shoes hanging over the streetlight, the houses, the palm
Mm-hmm.
trees.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels like home, doesn't it? Like it just that feels like Southern California to a T.
It does. It does feel
I
like Southern
saw that
California.
immediately. I'm like, yeah, that's SoCal right there.
Yep, yep, yep. Saw that plenty of times. Never
No
understood
place
it
like
as a
home.
kid. I'm like, oh, somebody's shoes are up there.
And a lot of times they're nicer shoes than what I was wearing.
Oh, snaps.
They're not
I
always
always
beat
saw
up.
them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just didn't get it. I was just like, why are there shoes up there? I'd see it, you drive by, cruising through.
Man, Smokey lives up to his name. Immediately, he starts the movie and he does a wake and bake right out the gate.
Dang.
Did you notice on his dresser all the 40s that he had there? Like the empty 40s?
No, no.
I just saw probably like 12 40s, and he probably never cleans his room. So those things are probably old and crusty. But yeah, he had just had a bunch of 40s lined up. Growing up in my neighborhood, while I wouldn't consider it the hood by any means, like I thought it was just like a normal middle class suburban neighborhood. But man, we still got into some shit. Let me tell you. I remember having to scrounge up allowance money to share with friends, like some of my buddies, so we can afford just a single 40. And it was mostly shit. It was that malt liquor, so it was like Old English
Right.
or Cobra or whatever the fuck.
It was shit to just get drunk with.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you pass it amongst like four or five friends of yours, and I'm not gonna lie, it tasted like straight up shit. but but you couldn't complain. You can complain because that was the only thing you could afford, and that was the only thing you could get your hands on back then.
Ah.
And we had a couple specific liquor stores that knew us well and would hook us up, so we were frequent
Ah.
customers.
That's right. You were patrons of that establishment.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know if you ever had experiences like that, but yeah, seeing those 40s, that just brought back a lot of memories for me growing up.
40. Yeah, I can't say that I've actually had a 40. I only know that it messes you up.
Consider
Yeah, I was
yourself
like
lucky. You're not missing much.
I was like, I don't know what that is. It looks like beer. I'm not a fan of beer. As a kid, I was just like, nah, I'm good.
It
I'm
can
good on
barely
all that.
be classified as beer, honestly.
Right, malt. It's malt, so it's like way stronger. That's all I knew. I
Oof.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
y'all are looking to get messed up. I'm out. I'm
It wasn't
good.
about the taste. Yeah, it was just about, yeah, the feeling, basically.
That tonight's gonna be.
Oh yeah. When it pans through Craig Jones's house, which is Ice Cube's character, there's a lot of dog paraphernalia. Did you notice that?
Mm.
Dog statues and little trinkets and stuff all over the place. And one of the little trinkets I saw in that house, I don't know if you saw this, but it straight up looked like a taxidermied Chihuahua head mounted on the
Oh.
wall. Did you see that?
Yeah, I
I was
think
like,
I
what the fuck is
did.
that? And
Ah,
who would want that?
right, right. Somebody who loved their dog dearly.
Maybe, I don't know, because
I don't know. That
from
freaked me
from
out.
from what the dad would talk about, it sounded like he hated dogs, but
Oh, right, right, right.
I felt like I got the opposite when you look through the house and when you just see kind of like how he talks about dogs. I felt like it wasn't all hatred there, which is kind of interesting to say because his main thing was he was talking about how he cleans up the streets with all these stray animals, and some of these dogs can get pretty aggressive, and he's had some bad run-ins with dogs, but I don't feel like it was all hatred for these animals.
No, I think he was in that at that point. He's really trying to sell Craig on being a dog catcher. Like he's trying. He's like, man, I don't like. I didn't he say I hate dogs? And he's like, yeah, me too. That's the joy of it. That's what I get.
Yeah, he's like, you get to like kick him and choke him.
Yeah. So he's basically. I feel like he's more or less just trying to sell it to him. Like yeah,
Mm.
this the thing you don't like. You get to just do it all day. Like over almost over the top. Like oh, way overselling this thing.
So
It's
do you
just like
think having all these dog paraphernalia, statue, trinkets, and stuff. Like, do you think that was just him being so invested in his craft, or do you think that maybe he did have a soft spot for dogs, regardless of what his job actually entailed?
I don't know. Hmm. That is kind of funny. That is kind of funny that he has all those dogs all over the place. Dog statues. I wonder.
I was curious about that, and I was wondering what you thought of that, because my take was seeing all that stuff in the house. It's there to remind you, and it's not dogs in showing them in a negative light. It's a lot of it was like cute stuff. You have these cute little porcelain statues and stuff all over the place, and I'm like, does he really hate dogs? I was questioning it.
Yeah, maybe it's to offset the rage. Maybe it's to remind him that not all dogs are bad, even though he's dealing with a lot of stray dogs that can be bad or violent.
Yeah, aggressive.
He's like,
Right,
oh,
right.
they're not all that bad. They're not all bad.
How'd you like that Jehovah's Witness scene with the two old ladies?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I was like, damn.
Because Craig,
I laughed
they
out loud
wake
when
him
she
up.
said that. Yeah, exactly. They wake
They
him
wake
up.
him. They're like slamming on the door, and so he
Uh-huh.
comes up and he's like, "What's up?" And they, of course, they start doing their whole
Their
spiel, and
spiel.
he just slams the fucking door right in their face, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Well, fuck you."
Yeah. I
Dude,
was
it's
like, yeah.
hilarious. Had me cracking up.
Yeah, I definitely bust up. But I was busting up. Just like you wonder if that's something that they say when somebody, I mean,
When
I
they
don't know.
walk
I don't know that
away.
people, yeah, I don't know that people are that. I'm sure people could be short with them too. So I don't know.
Let's discuss when Craig was making himself breakfast in the morning. I
Oh,
fucking
sheesh.
love this scene, dude.
That bowl is massive. That thing was
I think I
massive.
have one of those. It's a yellow plastic bowl, and it's like about that
Yeah.
size,
It's
and
like a
it's just
Tupperware bowl,
yeah, sort
specifically
of.
the brand Tupperware.
And you can use it for like basically anything. Like, it's just
You
kind of a
can.
multi-purpose bowl.
Mainly a mixing bowl though, because it's
Hmm.
ginormous. Like an entire box of cereal fit in that thing. That's exactly what he pours into it.
Like, he empties the whole box, and yeah, so he goes and grabs that Captain Crunch, which
Captain.
it was actually a knockoff. So I paused it
It
because I
looked
want to
like
see
it.
what it said. And it's the exact same box, except the words say Crunchies on it.
Ah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those knockoff brands. And man, him getting excited when he sees the cereal, because he's just kind of like, man, what can I eat? I'm hungry. And so he opens the cupboard and he sees the knockoff Captain Crunch there, and he's just like, yee. And I was like, that's exactly the same reaction I have every time I see Captain Crunch in my cupboard as well. Although for me, it's the Crunch Berry version, the
Yeah, I was gonna
superior.
ask.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna ask you if you could you would you still eat a box of Captain Crunch if it didn't have the crunch berries in there? Would you feel
Man, I
offended?
don't know. I would. That's a tough question, because I would, right now I'm hungry
Uh-huh.
recording this podcast.
Oh yeah.
So I would definitely fuck with it for sure. But
Be a little bit. You'd be little salty about it though.
yeah, but I would always think this experience could be so much better if you just had the variety of the crunch berries, because that just makes it, that brings it all together, in my opinion.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, it's like I don't know. Like it'd be the equivalent of having Lucky Charms with only the marshmallows. Which God, that would be
Or
painful. I've like
actually, it
you.
would be like without the marshmallows.
Oh right. It would be like right. It would be like
It's like
one
the
or the
worst part of
other.
the cereal.
Yeah, it'd be like the worst part. Yeah, but but truth be told, I don't know. Like I'm kind of the pendulum has swung from the one extreme as a kid, loving the sugary cereal, always having the tricks, wanted the tricks, desperate for the tricks, wanted
Damn,
the
really desperate for the tricks. Okay.
desperate for the tricks. We would get corn pops on occasion.
Okay.
Lucky Charms was a consistent one though. That was a
Wait.
winner. That's
Really
always
quick,
like winner.
going back to the corn pops. Was it the one with the foil bag?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a shit. You can never rip it properly. It was just
No.
fucked up as soon as you got. Yeah, you got to accept that. But yeah, we'd get the sugary cereal. So I've gone from that extreme, that with the Fruit Loops too, because you gotta have Fruit Loops,
Hmm.
to like regular Cheerios or Honey Nut Cheerios, grape nuts. Come on, what kid is eating
No
grape nuts?
kid
Please.
is fucking with grape nuts.
No, let me just chew on some gravel, please.
Oh man.
And that shit never gets soft. It's just always hard. It's always hard. You're just like, God. But I mean, I guess if you're into the always dry cereal,
Yeah.
then that's the one for you.
So that actually brings me to my next point here. So, Craig, he grabs his large bowl, his giant yellow bowl of cereal.
Oh, I know exactly where you're going with this.
He pours the whole fucking thing in there.
Whole
And
box.
you can bet that he was going to drown that shit in milk as well.
Oh, rightfully so.
When Craig goes to finally sit down and eat the cereal, he soon finds out that he doesn't have enough milk for his cereal. And I want to ask you, how many times has this happened to you, like this situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's happened, unfortunately, far too many times in my life. So
Same.
So it's like, you're faced with the option of either pouring back what's in the bowl still. Like, all right, and I've definitely done that before. I'm not above it. I won't even deny that shit. I've definitely have gone like, okay, and then you open the box, put it on its side, and you kind of tip it in there, and you're like, this is done. I'm not doing it.
So you're not caught in that situation where you pour the milk in and it's just like a couple drops that come out and you're like, oh shit, because that kind of taints the cereal at that point.
Oh, right. And now, if that's the case, which you're right, he does do that in the movie. Then, yeah, you're really
able to know. He picks up the carton. You would be able to know.
That's why I was like, he's surprised. He's surprised at this.
And
that
he's
was
like, he's hitting the top of it, like trying to get more to come out. Like it'd be stuck in the carton.
Right. I was like, you're not getting much more out of that. I don't know what's happening here. Like you're never going to be surprised the audience will be surprised when you go to pour it, but not you because you could just grab it and he could have probably just like shaken it like that and
it's
then
like
poured
those
it
got milk
out
commercials,
and then like, exactly. So
yeah, this has happened to me so many damn times that water? I now automatically never water. Fuck that. But I now I automatically check to see if we have milk first before I even bother pouring any cereal. I'm like, wait, let me just open the fridge. I'm like, yeah we got milk. All right.
Yeah, it's a good habit to get into for sure.
I ain't wasting my time with that. No, I've been burned too many times with that shit. So no, got to start with the milk first.
No, absolutely.
I almost have like PTSD from that. How the hell did Craig's dad, Willie Jones, played by the late great John Witherspoon, R.I.P. How did he teleport into the kitchen so fast? He goes back to the refrigerator, opens up the door, and he's looking for more milk. And he's like, man, we ain't never got no food. Closes it. Willie's already standing there. It's only been like 10 seconds. And he's doing this whole fucking thing where he's like obnoxiously eating grapes. Like, why is he eating grapes like that? Just like smacking his lips and like kind of sucking his teeth.
Oh, it's terrible.
I fucking that line he gives every time I'm in the kitchen. You in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator. He is so fucking annoyed seeing Craig sticking his head in the refrigerator. I fucking love it.
Yeah, no, it's good. Man, miss that guy.
Yeah. He just proceeds to rip Craig a new asshole for eating all the food, not doing any chores, and not trying and trying to throw away the perfectly good cereal because they ran out of milk. He's better put some water on that shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like in the middle of his rant that he's giving Craig. Craig's just standing there taking the whole thing, like a champ, and he just gives that line, I love pig feet. But this exact scenario, I'm pretty sure I've seen this happen at a buddy's house. Like I was there hanging out and I've seen the parents chew my friend out in front of me, and they don't care. They don't give a fuck if a friend's over. They're going to chew him out regardless.
That's what they do.
And I think in one instance, I think it may have been the same scenario where they ran out of milk and they're like, no, you ain't wasting that. You better eat that. Whether it's water or not, like you better eat that. So I would take my chances just eating it dry, honestly. I ain't putting water on that.
Because when you get to that's it. I've done it before with water, and it's like you get to the bottom and you just pour that shit out. There's no savoring anything. You're just like, get this fucking thing down the sink.
Yeah, get that trash out of here. I ain't eating that.
Gross. Not
long after this breakfast scene, let's also take some time to talk about Willie talking to Craig while taking a shit. This scene.
Yeah.
This scene hits close to home for me. So, this is only about the 10-minute mark in the movie, and I already have so much to say, I feel like. So, I'm going to have to say, let me compose myself for a bit before I get into this here. So, that generation of dads, they were just comfortable with their bodies, and they didn't mind trying to talk to kids from the bathroom. Many times it happened with the door open for me. So with my dad, he did not give a fuck. No matter if it was the stinkiest shit, my dad was like, I don't care. When he needed to talk to you, he was going to talk to you. And a lot of times that just happened to be while he was in the bathroom. So for me, it wasn't so much like I wouldn't be in the bathroom with him, like in the movie. But for me, he would just open the door all the way, just on the toilet. And he would just be like, call out to me, like, you're like, hey, come here. I need to talk to you really quick. And so I'd be standing in the hallway, and I just have to endure it while he's talking to me.
Standing as far away as you possibly can, and it's still not far enough.
I kind of had the same body language that Craig had in the movie, and I'm like trying to like plug my nose, and I'm just like, and I'm annoyed too. I'm like, why do you have to talk to me right now? Why can't you talk to me when you get out? This happens every time. And I'm pretty sure my sister had to go through this shit too. I remember Steph and I would get mad at my dad because he would try to do that shit while we had friends over. He didn't give a fuck.
Dude, wow. That's rough stuff. Yeah, my dad definitely, that was a thing. That was definitely a morning routine for pops.
A routine.
It was like a morning thing. It was like, hey, we got to get a ride to school, but you got to go in there. And he'd have the radio on. We're listening to Mark and Brian on KLOS. Although it's just like, wow, just knocks you right over. It's like I think I've said before, it's like that scene in Workaholics where the characters are climbing down this manhole, and one of them announces, "Oh, smells like my dad's bathroom."
So it's close to home for you as well.
So it's like thick. You're like in there and you're just like, oh my God, like
that air is just, it's thick. There's that fog. Yeah,
it's ripe, and the door is just open. It's not like you're standing in it in the bathroom, but it's enough, you know what I mean? And it was just, it was just me. This is all boys. It was me, my pops, and my brother.
Right.
So it was like, yeah, you don't give a shit. It's just like, there it is. Boosh.
At least so he wasn't trying to talk to you while he was using the toilet. Then it would just be the aftermath.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. We're trying to get a ride to school. So we're, hey, Dad, can we? I can't hear you. Radio's on.
All right, let me open the door. You're like, no, it's fine.
Yeah, no. You can't hear. You know what? I can't hear you. So he just opened the door. Boom. And he'd be there with the LA Times sitting on the can. I'm just like,
oh, that's awesome.
Why?
I'm a stickler for bathroom humor, so I love the scene. I would love it regardless if I had my own experiences, my own personal experiences with it. But I think it just, like I said, it hits closer to home. So that just makes it so much more impactful for me.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh man. So after that, Felisha, a local drug addict, comes over to try and cook chicken in Craig's microwave, only she wants to take the entire microwave to her house. And I was actually surprised that Craig was actually down. He was like, all right, give me the chicken, I'll cook it for you. And she's like, well, actually, I was thinking you can just let me borrow the microwave and I'll just cook it at my house. So she was basically asking to, like, can I have your microwave? Yeah. Essentially, because as soon as he hands that over, he's not getting it back.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anyone go over to someone's house and say, hey, can I cook chicken here? And by that, I mean, can I have your microwave?
Yeah. No shame.
That was such a weird interaction, but you know what? I'm sure this has happened to some people.
I mean, that's pretty, it's pretty extreme. I was like, are you kidding?
Who the fuck says that? Who asks for this?
I mean, they must be pretty tight as neighbors. They must be pretty tight. I mean, I'm assuming they all grew up in the same neighborhood ish, you
Yeah,
know.
I think she is. It made it seem like she was just down the street, a few houses.
Right. That's his love interest's sister.
Sister, yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but Craig actually breaks the fourth wall right here. When she asks for that, he like
Right.
takes a moment to look at the camera, like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Is this chick really asking me this right now?" And
Yeah.
so yeah, he says no and slams that door right in her face. This is the movie where "By Felicia," yeah, came
Yep.
from, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this is
Mm-hmm.
where that meme came from, or
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't actually say until later in the movie, but
I was gonna say yeah.
that whole "By
So,
Felicia" thing, I felt like it was fairly recent because it was decades later when people actually started using that phrase. I feel like
yeah. I wonder why that caught on like that. Because
just
obviously,
random, right?
yeah, yeah, 95, and there was such a it was such a that it's his way of just brushing her off, like get the hell out of here, like
Yeah,
it's
he
not
doesn't
gonna
even
work.
want to waste any more time or breath. Like
Yeah,
he's just "Bye Felicia"
exactly. Like I'm not even gonna give you the amount of effort, the time that
to come
Smokey
up with
just
the
took
bullshit.
to, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, just buy, like don't bring it here. She turns to him to try to give him the same spiel and everything that she just gave Smokey, and he saw how
nope,
that went. He's just like, no, not even gonna look at her. He doesn't even look at her. All he says
nope.
is, "Bye, Felicia." I wonder what it makes me wonder, like what memes, what gifs, what movements from the 90s, or even at this point, and we're moving into the
More
early
recent
aughts
movies,
now, right? What's going to get pulled from the past
right?
and made new? What other? Because that's a pretty obscure line.
hmm Yeah, it's not even that big. I don't even think that was the funniest or even close to the funniest line in the movie, but that was extracted much later. Just that line, and it's a quick. He just says it in passing. There isn't like a big focus on this line.
Right, right. But I think that's also why it was so perfect too, because it just really embodies that whole feeling of just, I'm done.
Yep,
I'm done talking to you. This is
that
over.
people can relate with. Yeah,
Right. Instead of saying like, this conversation is over. It was just like, bye, Felicia. Get the fuck out of here.
Smokey. Speaking of Smokey, he pops back up. He does the whole wake and bake. Smokey pops back up, but this time he's crawling in through Craig's window. And this is where it foreshadows that Craig actually has a gun stashed in his dresser. So that was
Mm-hmm.
actually one of the more like serious parts of the movie, the plot line with the gun.
Yeah, it's interesting that whole message that
hmm
was trying to be that they were trying to put out there as well. Went from the
Don't
whole
be a
boys in the
bitch.
hood violence, that kind of thing, just portraying the violence that's there. I don't think they were necessarily encouraging it. They're just like, hey, this is what we dealt with. This is what we're
hmm
dealing with.
This is kind of
Um,
what you need to survive. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's more just like, yeah, that's just the reality of the situation, not glorifying it, just saying this
right.
is just what's up. But like it went from that to then being like, we're gonna do something about it. So we're gonna make this movie have a message about gun violence and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
which I thought was actually it was pretty nice.
I thought so
It
too.
wasn't
I thought
obnoxious. It wasn't hitting you over the head with it.
right, right, exactly. Like settle this. You live to fight another day. That whole they let that whole
Yep.
his they let that whole spiel play again. Hearing his dad say that in his head
hmm
and just really driving the point home again. Yeah,
Yep.
seeing that man, tempers can flare, but you can't bring a life back after you pull that trigger. It's like you may have regrets after and be like, oh hey, it wasn't I shouldn't have been as mad as I was before. Sorry about that. But if the person's dead, then it's done. There's no coming back.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what he was getting at too. Willie was that
Yeah,
he's like, you guys are way too quick to like jump to the worst possible thing. Like
yeah,
how about you fucking take some time, and just be a man about it. Like talk it out, and if you guys need to fight, then get it out of your system, and then boom, it's done. That's
right. But
it.
also what he says to where he says the gun comes into play is, you're afraid to get your asses beat is what it is. You're afraid to have your ass beat, so you don't want to lose.
hmm
But
Yeah, you don't
sometimes
even
you
want to take that
win.
chance.
Right, exactly. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I mean, hell, to be honest, it's like you could die in a fist fight. You could die in a whatever in an altercation with
True,
somebody.
true.
The reality is, I mean, somebody could. Speaking of having that temper, somebody could just push it too far and like grab a weapon nearby, like a bottle, break a bottle, stab you with it, or hit
It
you
can
with a pool
escalate real
cue, or
fast. Yeah.
just one one punch to the face and your head hits the ground and, you know, you're concussed or
Hmm.
worse, you know. And I, as an older brother, there was this idea in my mind, this little, you know, this little person, this little kid idea of needing to be, because I'm the firstborn, right? You know, I'm
Right.
older than you. I've been on this earth longer. You know what I mean? You got to show me respect. I have to show my elders respect. You got to show me respect, kind of thing. Yeah, you know, it would turn into, well, I gotta prove a point now. You can't do this to me, even though it was is a total accident. You know, he
Hmm.
might, like I said, kick my foot, and then I'd be like, "What the hell?" And I'd like, boom, give him a good shove from my seated position where I was, you know, sitting down near the couch. I might, just give him a shove,
Hmm.
and then that might piss him off, which then turned into, you know, here we are just freaking wrestling each other, and like, you know.
Did it ever get to that point with Ryan? Did he like walk past you and go, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, what the fuck, bro? You just farted in my
Just
face."
farted in my face. No, no, no. He had a little temper on him though too, which is funny. He would just be all just in a rage, just but he was much younger, so it wasn't like we ever.
Yeah.
I didn't really take it that
You didn't
seriously,
take him
you know.
seriously, yeah.
No, no, no. I could basically, I could put my hand out and hold him by his head, and he would just be like,
Oh, that whole thing, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was not a, you know. I was just like, no. That was a way of neutralizing him too, make him realize you can't hurt me unless you're gonna scratch me with your nails or something. Which if you're gonna go that far, then you're really gonna piss me
Yeah.
off. You might get a Kamehameha blast into the fucking couch or something.
You give him that like Rick James like boot, you know? Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy, just boojuge, into the bar as he did.
That shit was so random, like,
No,
but it
man, I
was
did
great.
help. We did help him out today.
What'd you think of that whole plot line with Big Worm, you know, and like how Smokey's relationship with Big Worm? Because Big Worm's like the drug dealer, right? And
Mhm.
Smokey just kind of sells it for him.
He runs it, yeah. What did I think of their dynamic, or what do I think of Big Worm? Or
Yeah, you know, just like that character and like their relationship.
interesting, yeah. I think it's funny how I don't know how well he knows Smokey. You know, he knows the neighborhood. He seems to know the neighborhood pretty well.
Hmm.
But it's like Smokey is just gonna smoke. I mean, his name is Smokey, for God's sakes, and he's like trusting Smokey to
Hmm.
sell this for him.
What makes him
I,
think that Smokey is even trustworthy of anything?
right. What's ever given him the impression of that? And anybody who can, maybe he's just desperate. Maybe he doesn't really have anybody else to run it. Maybe he also just knows that Smokey knows people who do like to smoke. And so he's like, all right, I know he's probably going to smoke my stuff too, but he'll come up with the money. I don't know. But, I will say that actor that plays Big Worm is
Hmm.
hilarious. That dude
Yeah.
used to make me laugh like constantly. He was my favorite character on this one TV show I used to watch as a kid. I can't remember. He was a neighbor too. He was just like a side character. But whenever he came
Oh,
over, dude, he fucking killed it always. So when I
yeah.
saw him on screen, I was like, oh shit, he was doing this before that TV show. Same guy, yeah, yeah. And he's being more serious, but like, yeah, when he was playing this other character, he was so silly, dude. I mean, not silly. I don't know. He just, I think he was so serious in that TV show that's what made it so funny too. Is that he was just like,
Mm.
you know, he's over the top with all his stuff. Anyway, Big Worm with his freaking perm, and that was, you know, with those rollers in his hair and everything
Yeah.
too. It's so good.
Yeah. Curling his hair. And it seemed like he was doing pretty damn well for himself because he had a pretty clean looking lowrider there with the hydraulics
Yeah,
and
he did.
everything.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, entrepreneur.
But, you know, as Smokey does, he weasels his way by kissing up to him. And what I always found like obnoxious about Smokey too is like he always kisses ass whenever people are around, but then as soon as they leave, he's like, "Man, fuck you," you know, like I ain't gonna do shit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
to like almost like prove it to himself that he still has like some respect. But you know, no one's around to even see it. He's just doing it for himself.
Yeah, yeah. He's he's a coward basically. Yeah, he's a coward who, you know, as soon as there's nothing at stake, then it's like, yeah, then he's a tough dude. But as soon as they turn around, like, what'd you say? He's like, oh, nothing. You know what I mean? He's
He actually mentions this later in the movie. I think it was one of the run-ins with Deebo, but he says something like he's like, you know what? When they come around, I make them think that they're in charge, but when they leave, I start talking again. You know, he's like
that's
when they're around,
right.
I shut up. but I'd be talking again once they leave.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's like trying to convince his friends that he's not a bitch, but it's like,
Yeah,
bro, who are you trying to fool?
yeah, exactly.
That like barbell bench in the front yard, I just feel like that's like really convenient because it's like you never know what like how busy your schedule is going to be. So and just by having that out there, you don't have an excuse. You know, you can just like get a couple reps in on your way to work or something. You just walking out to the car, you might let me just get
Walking
some
out to the
presses in,
car, hey, yeah,
some curls,
yeah.
whatever the case.
Yeah, my cousin David,
Uh-huh.
that he always had a bench in the garage, and when I would come
Nice.
over, and this is in high school, I'd come over there, and I think I may have used it like a couple of times, not really very many times, because it was normally like we were going. I was always hanging out with his son Eric,
Mhm.
and Eric would use the bench every now and then, but it looked the same. It was the same. It looked like the exact same setup where
Was
it's
it
like,
beat up and dusty?
yeah, yeah, exactly. But the barbell itself was not like, say, when you go to the gym, you're basically working with a 45-pound barbell when you
Right.
go to like any normal gym. But those ones are like, they're just like a small
Super
little lead
skinny.
pipe. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
super skinny. It gets the job done, obviously, but
Right. I think it was a little bit more classy to have it in the garage. I remember doing something similar. Well, not at my house, but this was like a friend's house. So it was like an acquaintance's house, but he had a similar setup, but in the backyard. This would be like the first time I met the guy, and we just started randomly working out in his backyard. Like he's like, hey, let's go to the back, and then we just start. He just like starts sitting down at the bench and starts doing like reps while we're chatting, and
mm.
I guess I was like, well, everyone else is working. I guess I will too. And I just, I pick up the barbell that's on the ground and I start doing curls or whatever the fuck with it. And it's like no goal or agenda. It's just like something to do while you're hanging out. It's weird.
Oh, right. That is pretty funny. And the irony is, it doesn't even really, especially when you're that age, it doesn't really matter. You'll make gains. You don't have to do much to make gains. I think a lot of people don't realize that. Like,
Oh, dude, I did like 10 curls and I'm like, I'm like so ripped right now. It's crazy.
yeah, you got that
A
human
sick
growth
pump.
hormone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Why just start working out randomly? This is the first time being at this person's house, first time meeting this person. Why are we working out? Because why not?
because we're guys. That's why.
That's
Because
what we
look,
do.
in Friday, that's what they do too. They're just like, who cares? They didn't even question it. He doesn't go like,
Yeah.
Craig, what are you doing? Like, no, it's just I'm gonna sit down at the bench. You're gonna spot me because you're just there,
Yeah.
and you're a pal. You're gonna make sure I don't choke myself.
That's the thing with guys is that when we hang out, there's usually like an activity that everyone is kind of participating in while we're
Mm-hmm.
hanging out, whether that's like working out
Shooting
or
pool,
watching
working
TV.
out,
Yeah.
watching TV,
Playing games or whatever. Like there's
playing video
always
games.
an
Yeah,
activity that kind of has to be the excuse for hanging out.
right.
We don't ever just go to talk.
Yeah, yeah. We gotta have something, or you're going someplace, right? You either have an activity that you're doing right in the spot, or you're like, hey, we're gonna go to do that thing, right? Yeah, 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 we're gonna go do that thing. All right, cool, cool, cool.
Mhm.
So you show up and then you roll out. We're gonna mob it.
Exactly. Oh man, around this time, this is where Debbie is introduced. The character Debbie,
Mm-hmm.
played by Nia Long, and she's just kind of passing by, going on her morning jog past the house. Let me say, I had the biggest crush on her when she was
Oh,
Lisa in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
oh, 100%, dude. Absolutely. That was the first time I'd
Super
seen
cute.
her was on Fresh Prince. Yeah,
Yeah,
over. I
she
was
just
just
had a
like,
really sweet smile.
oh, dude, she's absolutely gorgeous, and yeah, her smile was just winning. And I remember the episode too when he meets her because it had to be one of the funniest scenes as well. It was like he meets her, and then
Will
she
Smith.
pretends to be crazy. You're right. Will Smith meets her.
Mhm.
She turns out to be kind of crazy, but really it's a setup because Carlton put her up to it. I don't know if he paid her or whatever, but they get her up to a cabin. And so to play a joke on Carlton, I guess the two of them actually do end up hitting it off. And I'm sorry, Will Smith and Nia Long's character Lisa end up hitting it
Mhm.
off. Either way, at the end of it, basically, Will says, yeah, she was crazy, and then Carlton's like, well, what'd you do? And he's like, I don't know, man. I was out there and I took this rock, and he's like, this big rock, and he holds it like imaginary rock above his head, and he goes, no, no, and then Carlton like starts running through he runs out of the screen, runs off the set,
Yeah.
And you can still hear him screaming, but from a distance. Other mics are picking him up, and next thing you know, another camera's got him, and he's running through a different set now, and it's the kitchen of Fresh Prince. And then it's like after that, then he's like crawling on his
So he's like
sliding
overselling
on
it.
his knees way over the top. There was one of
Yeah.
those where they actually showed the set, and you could see each of them,
Behind the
each of the
scenes.
sets. And yeah, he comes bursting through another door at someone else's house, and just, it's too good, dude. It was so funny. But that was
Yeah.
the episode that Nia Long first made an appearance in.
Nice.
And they had a good run on that whole
Yeah,
love story.
she was in quite a few episodes, right? Like, wasn't she
Yeah.
in a few seasons?
I think she was, but I just know that in my opinion, as a kid, I can't think of a single one of his other love interests that stuck out as much as Nia Long did. She was just like the cream of the crop. So
Yeah,
to see
I
her
agree.
again, I was just like, wow, I'm so glad they captured her at this point in her life. She's just so gorgeous, and
Yeah,
that smile, and she's like, hi boys, or something like that, or hi
kind of
guys, as she's running
flirtatious,
by.
right?
Right. She's just jogging by, and you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, had the same reaction they did.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I was a little unsure about the scene where Smokey is kind of retelling this incident that happened with Red and Deebo. So you know what I'm talking about, where
He stole his
Red
chain.
tries to get his
his
bike back. Yeah, so he lets
Right.
Deebo borrow the bike, and Deebo's just like straight up not going to give it back. And he shows up with his dad at like
Yeah.
someone's house, and so Red's like, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" So he pulls Deebo aside, and he's like, "Hey, my dad's tripping or whatever, but can I just get my bike back?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, "Actually, you know what? I got something else for you," and gives him that uppercut. And he flies like way back, and like 20 feet away. And I was curious, do you think this was Smokey over exaggerating the story, or do you think like in the events in the universe of this movie that actually happened?
No. I think it's all hyperbole. I think it's hyperbole.
That was just Smokey,
because when somebody retells a story, it's always to make it exciting. It's
20
embellished.
feet. Yeah.
Right. Damn.
And also RIP to Zeus, who passed away in 2020.
Zeus, dude. Yeah, absolutely. After watching the fight scenes that he was in, especially the last one with Craig, I'm like, I can totally see why he was selected as that actor, because he does a great job of, he can take a punch, he can sell a punch too. He can he can sell the punches and and he can, like I said, he can really take a beating as well. So and make it look like, this person's really messing him up pretty good. Mm-hmm. Without making it look like it's too put on, you know what I mean? Like it's so fake, like a Rocky movie or something. One of the early Rocky movies where it's just like the punch is like way out here and it's like, ugh.
Exactly. And his punches looked realistic. Like they looked like he had some heat behind him.
Oh yeah. He definitely threw his hips in there too. You're like, oh yeah, snapped on him.
Those hips don't lie.
That's right, man. Shakira, she knew.
Craig and Smokey go over to Smokey's house so that way they can actually smoke, because I guess Craig's parents are still at his house, right? So Smokey is just being impatient. He's like, "Man, let's go over to my place, so we can smoke." And apparently his mom's okay with it, because I'm pretty sure his room just reeks of it, and he has no hesitation of just closing the door, and he just lights one up. It's kind of strange that she was like, it didn't seem like she would partake in it, but she also didn't have an issue with Smokey smoking in the house. She was kind of giving off these vibes of being a neglectful parent, like she was just like, whatever, like I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
She was, who knows, maybe she was getting into some shit herself.
I mean, I can't tell. I don't know if I know it looked like she had a cigarette in her hand, but that could have been a joint as well. I don't know. But yeah, she definitely doesn't seem to give a shit, and tells him to come up with the difference, for the cigarettes that she wants.
Yeah, like, what? Maybe she knows that she's like, he doesn't have a legitimate job, but he's getting money somehow. So you come up with the difference,
right? Yeah,
and she just gives him
get kicked out.
$1 to go pick up
Right,
cigarettes.
right. He's not looking to get kicked out, so he's like, fine, I'll keep the peace.
Yeah, make it enough.
Make it enough. Yeah.
I felt kind of weird seeing Ice Cube's character be so against weed initially in the movie. Like, I don't know, it just seems so odd because it seemed like everyone else would have been fine partaking, but like for whatever reason, I don't think they ever really get into it. But Craig's character, he's just like, he's so against it early on. You know, he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Nah, I'm never gonna try it. Nah, I'm good. I smoke or I drink. I don't smoke."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what they were trying to say with that, but yeah, I think
Okay,
he's the kind of person who wants to be in control. And because of that, he doesn't want to smoke and not be in control. Because to drink, he maybe is more familiar with that feeling, but when you smoke,
hmm.
then it's like, who knows? Everything becomes a little bit funnier, and you're not the same tough dude that you were a
Oh
moment
yeah, because
ago.
he wants to put up that front, right? So maybe he can still have that when he's drinking, but when you're smoking, you're a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed, a lot less guarded.
He really regrets smoking primarily when Nia Long shows up again and is sitting next to him. He has the balls to ask her to sit next to him, which he hadn't had before. So it's like he did let his guard down more then, but then she
True.
asks him if he's high, and then he gets really self conscious.
Oh yeah, super self conscious because this is his first time. He has that first time, that first high, and he doesn't realize how he's acting or how he's coming across.
Right, right. Now he like dusts himself off and
Do I
preps
look high
himself.
now?
Yeah. Do I look high now? I died, dude. I could not stop laughing when he said that.
Because how
Like, there's
long
that
was he
whole
doing
build
that?
up.
Like he took like a
Yeah,
good like minute, like dusting himself off and
yeah,
straightening
yeah,
his
yeah,
shirt
yeah.
and like sitting
Exactly.
up, and he was just like, "So, do I still look high?"
Exactly. Oh, dude. So good. That was really, really funny. But it just
Yeah.
goes to show as well how much she liked him just as for the person that he is.
Hmm.
Because despite the fact that she could probably tell he was high, she was either if she couldn't tell, she was at least willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, like whatever, like she still likes him. Ultimately,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter because she still likes him, and as hard as he was trying to like impress her, I think she thought that was cute because in the end, she just liked him how he was.
Right. Right. After Smokey gets high again, like you said, mom sends him on an errand to go pick up some cigarettes at the liquor store. And I want to give a shout out to Dr. Dre's Keep Their Heads Ringing because I was playing in the car on their way to the liquor store.
Classic.
Have you ever ran errands with your friend before? Like, have you ever hung out at your friend's house and then all of a sudden they need to do some
Yeah.
impromptu errand, and so yeah,
Oh
you
yeah.
just have to go with them?
Yeah. Of course, just rolling. Just like sure, let's do it. Where are we going? Let's do it.
Exactly. Yeah, I felt like that shit used to happen to me all the time.
Oh yeah.
Go to
Yeah.
start
I mean,
pick up
you're
some
hanging.
shit, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess let's go.
Yeah,
Let's take
especially
a
if you're
break
like
from whatever we're
close
doing.
friends.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because what are you gonna do? Like, oh, I better go home now while you go do that thing, or
Nah,
oh, I'll just stick around here and wait till you get back. Like, what? No, you don't want to. Why would I want to like
by yourself, yeah.
be by myself with their mom or something like that? That's just I didn't come over here to hang out with their mom. I came to hang out with the homie. So
Yeah.
yeah, where are we going? We're rolling. Let's roll out.
I also want to give a shout out to Smokey's Ford Pinto because that was probably the coolest looking Pinto I've ever seen.
Oh, dang, that was a Pinto,
That
huh?
was pretty
Shoot.
sleek. Yeah, that black and red. He had like the custom paint job on it and everything.
That's what's up. Yeah,
Had
yeah.
some
My uncle
rims.
had a blue one. Man, it's been a long time since I've seen that thing. That looked more spacious than the Pinto I remember as a kid. But
Yeah. Oh, maybe
um,
because it was a soft top, convertible.
that might be it. Yeah. Because yeah, definitely the one I remember was a hard top. So
The Pinto that you were probably in probably ran better because this one sounded like gunshots are going off like every 10
yeah.
minutes.
Well, but that's every Pinto though. I mean, that's why they were recalled because they would like they actually did explode.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, that was it. It was like done. You're done. No more of
Yeah.
those coming out. It was like a massive manufacturing issue,
Uh-huh.
defect, whatever. There's footage. If after we're done here, you can look up YouTube videos on exploding Pintos. Like,
And there will probably be a
yeah,
lot.
and there will be a lot montages, dude.
How much money they probably put into that Pinto, like how fucked up it still was, like the handbrake didn't work. He had to like
Oh right, he kept
reapply
having
the
to like
brake like five
yeah
times and it just kept rolling.
yeah exactly. Got out of it and it started rolling. Damn.
He's like, God damn, and just like
Yeah.
had to keep reapplying the brake.
Uh,
Did you also notice what his license plate said on that car? The
no,
custom
no.
license plate? It
Uh-uh.
said "fuck it." like FCK space IT.
Oh, okay.
That
No,
shit
I
would
didn't
not
see that.
fly, but it was funny to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Would
Oh,
not
fun
fly.
fact too about that liquor store. So who was it? I believe the writer was the one that played the liquor store clerk, DJ Pooh. Oh no, wait. So no, that
Mm.
was the director. So the DJ played Red, the one that got uppercutted. So DJ Pooh was the writer for the movie. He played Red that got uppercutted by Deebo. The liquor store clerk was the director, F. Gary Gray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
The,
so he
wait,
has a
wait,
little
wait.
cameo. He's the one that's like shooing away the tweaker.
Yeah, yeah,
He's like
exactly.
mopping the floor, and then
Yeah,
like
he's mopping the
the
floor.
tweaker
That's
guy
right.
pretends to like fall down. He's like, "I'm suing you guys."
That's right. Yeah, he's like, man, I didn't even mop over there yet, or something.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "Man, get your ass up."
Uh huh.
He's like, What was he asking?" He's like, "Can I at least get like $5 or something like that?"
Yeah, and this whatever the hell he's holding.
Yeah, I think it was a 40 actually.
Yeah.
And after that, Bernie Mac's character shows up, who plays a pastor, right?
Yeah.
And he goes across the street to that lady's house, and they fuck around or whatever. R.I.P. Bernie Mac.
R.I.P. Man, that was gone too soon. Crazy. This life. Never know.
It's crazy
But
how
yeah.
many people have passed away that were in this movie,
Yeah.
and all legends in their own right.
Exactly. How funny. Yeah.
Hmm. Did you notice that like Deebo almost had his own theme music? Like they always play that same theme every time he rolls up, and he got that super squeaky bike. It's like,
Right, right. Which was Red's bike.
and that music that he had, it almost reminded me of Jaws. It was like dun dun
Mm-hmm.
dun every time he rolled
Mm-hmm.
up. And like every time Deebo rolls up, like everyone has to immediately take their jewelry off, otherwise he'll confiscate it.
Right, right. No one wants it. They don't want to give him a reason. They don't want to have to get into a fight with him. And they're probably not going to fight him. They're just gonna lose their shit. So it's like, all right.
Craig finally smokes weed, so it's Smokey eventually convinces him, peer pressures him into it, and I don't know. I feel like Craig started tripping out way too much for it to just be regular weed. I feel like he was like hallucinating Big
Might have been
Worm's
loose
head
or
being in his
something.
cupboards, and that leads me to think that that shit was laced with something.
It was
I
like
feel
a
like that chronic
Jeffy.
had something else in it, maybe some
Mm-hmm.
PCP or some shit. Because that was the stuff that got Smokey all tweaked out, right?
Right, right. But unless Smokey did so unknowingly, I don't think he wanted to get Ice Cube messed up the way that he got messed up by those dudes. Like,
Mm.
because, and they did tell him to go easy though. Right? They told him to go easy, man. And he's like, no, I know what I'm doing. And then they're like,
Yeah,
all right, you made your bed.
you're
Now you
doing
got to
it to
sleep in it.
yourself.
Yeah, you're doing it to yourself. So this is what you get for not heeding our warning.
And that's why he doesn't hang out with them, is because he was embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
They saw
Right,
him
he was
all tweaked out.
embarrassed. Yeah, they saw him all tweaked out, and he. What's funny is this. It's his own. What's the word I want to say? His own kind of projection. He can't see that he was wrong, and he cannot admit that he was the one who did it to himself.
Right.
So
He
it's
blames
almost like
them.
seeing them. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you tricked me. I blame you. It's like, well, they did tell you to go easy. Yeah, maybe they didn't tell him what was actually in it per se, but um, they did tell him to go easy. So maybe they did bait him. I mean, from his point of view, maybe flip side, maybe they did bait him into it and knew that he was going to just think that he's some badass who could just smoke. And maybe they thought, oh, we'll just have a good night watching this fool get crazy and
Right.
be weird. So I don't know. I don't know. All I know is he he played, if that's the case, then he played right into their hand, and he needed to have been a little sharper. And that's what
Well,
keeps him.
he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. A lot of it too is like it's the company that Smokey keeps around. These are the types of people that he hangs with. So again,
Mm-hmm.
he does it to himself. I did want to give another shout out to Kool-Aid, because after both of them smoke in front of Craig's house, they go inside to get some Kool-Aid. I even like how
Yeah.
Craig is like, "Hey, you want
Oh
some Kool-Aid?
yeah.
You want some Kool-Aid?" And Smoke is like, "Hell yeah, I want some Kool-Aid." And
Yeah.
that's always how I felt as a kid. My parents never got Kool-Aid, but I would go to my friend's house and he would always hook it up. So
Oh, that's funny.
I got to see the process, and
Oh yeah.
I think Kool-Aid nowadays, you just kind of grab a couple scoops, throw it in the water, mix it in, you're good to go. But back then, there were these like little tea packets, and there was a bunch of different flavors. Like my friend would like make his own. He would invent his own flavor by like
Oh,
mixing and matching.
yeah.
And so he would like add. It was basically food coloring, and you had to add your own sugar,
Yeah, I mean there was flavoring too. It was food coloring with flavoring,
some
and
slight flavoring.
yeah, no, it was pretty prominent. Like, because we would always the two favorites that we would get because we didn't have a lot of soda in our house, but what we did have was Kool Aid. We always
Nice.
had a pitcher of Kool Aid in the oh, not always, but many times for dinner
Mhm.
at least. We'd have mom would cook up some dinner,
Kool-Aid was the shit,
and
honestly.
the Kool Aid was delicious. It was we always had purple Kool Aid. I say purple, not grape, because to me it didn't really taste like grape. It was
It tasted
purple
like the
Kool Aid,
color purple.
tasted like purple. It was purple Kool Aid, or we had this like turquoise blue Kool Aid, and it was like tropical something. But those were the two flavors, man. Like you saw that in there, it was good times.
It didn't last
Loves
long.
some Kool Aid. Oh hell no, it did. Hell no, it didn't. It was like we would drink like 3 glasses in one night. Oh my gosh, which is why my mom she always lightly sugar, light sugar on that shit.
Gotcha.
Ryan, because Ryan was, he was adventurous, kind of rambunctious, just wild kid.
You know,
He would,
he kind of explored outside the boundaries a bit.
yeah, he was a little dude was a little monkey, man. Didn't matter that he was a short, didn't matter that he couldn't reach the cupboard, dude. He would climb up to the countertop, then go right, dude. He was, I mean, legit monkey. Like he could just like get his way up there, and then he's like this little skinny guy, and then he would grab the packets. He knew exactly where they were kept, and then he'd go through the whole trouble, dude. It just seemed like so much effort to do it.
Yeah.
I just didn't really care to. I was like, and I just never felt motivated to, like, oh, I really want this sugar flavored thing. I was always just like, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, I'll just drink water. It's no big deal.
Oh,
But
okay.
Ryan would make it, and Ryan would add just a little more. I mean, maybe more, way more sugar. I don't know. I didn't like it too sweet. He seemed to make it just a little more sweet than mom's, and it always tasted. As a kid, it tasted great. Then now, I would probably much prefer mom's recipe back then because less sugar.
I was saying like my family never had Kool-Aid, but we were all about that Country Time lemonade
Oh,
and
we made that up too.
or the Tang
Oh, we have
orange drink. I wouldn't even call it orange juice. It was just orange flavored drink.
orange. Hell yeah, dude. We had some Tang.
I wonder if those are still around.
They are. Oh, it's so salty, dude. It's like I remember having it and I was just like, yeah, too much. Too
I
much.
can't. Yeah, a lot of that stuff, even like the Sunny D. I can't even believe I used to drink that shit. It's crazy.
It's like exactly. It's just like give me more. I don't know. When you're a kid, you want it at like turn it up to 11. You wanted it all the way. Jack that shit all the way up. You could take it. Now I'm like, no, I know what this is gonna do to me later.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be crashing hard later.
On it crashing hard. It's not gonna be good. No fun.
What'd you think of Debbie trying to hook up Smokey with her friend who claims to look like Janet Jackson?
Um.
She was fucking catfishing him.
Oh, big time catfishing them. I mean, both of them were both Lisa and not Lisa. What's her name? Yeah, Debbie.
Debbie. Yeah.
Debbie and her Janet Jackson friend were totally in on that, and yeah.
Do you think would that have been a selling point for you if someone was like, "Yeah, I look like Janet Jackson"? Because for me, I never liked Janet because she looked too much like Michael to me.
Ouch. Well, see, I had seen Janet before she started like doing collabs with him. I think as she got older, those maybe those traits stood out a little bit more. I feel like the whole family looks so similar though. Like
Mm,
what's his? He had another sister who like was kind of quasi famous.
mhm.
Anyway, um, that would have I mean that could be a selling point for sure. I mean I would have wondered like what era, like and at the time I guess 95. Okay, I think her album, that album where she like where that's the way love goes came out was around that same time like 93, 94.
Okay,
90, yeah, I want to say 93. Yeah, that was a hot album. Really, really hot. Damn. Anyway,
but was she
yeah.
hot?
Oh hell yeah, she was, dude. Oh man, I could. I remember the songs too that she would. Yeah, I had a crush on her in like the '80s though too. There was one song, "The Pleasure Principle." So yeah, that would have been a key selling point. And she was wearing, when she shows up, she does wear Janet Jackson, like, what was that, Poetic Justice? That she had that Poetic Justice outfit on with the hat and the long hair, and then she fucking takes that off, and it was gnarly.
Oh, I forgot the hair was attached to the hat.
Yeah. I was like, oh damn,
And
just the
Smokey's
levels of
reaction.
disappointment. Yeah, the levels
Yeah,
of disappointment
it
just,
just kept getting worse and worse, and he was
couldn't.
just like, "Damn."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, Chris Tucker in this movie, it was hilarious. His overacting with every scene, you know,
Yeah, no, he was, I mean,
he
hey,
was having fun.
he was having fun, and it got him a lot of roles. I mean, Rush Hour and
Mm.
Shanghai Noon, was he? No, that's not Shanghai Noon. That's actually Jackie Chan and what's his name? Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
But yeah,
Well, Owen
yeah.
Wilson could pass as Chris Tucker.
He confessed. He was so low key. I still like. I like. Side note. I like both their dynamics with Jackie Chan. They had some good laughs. But no, Chris Tucker had a bunch of roles after that. Money Talks. He was in that one with Charlie Sheen.
Hmm.
Um,
Let's not forget The Fifth Element.
oh shit, and he's way over the top on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that was really good.
just as obnoxious in that movie as he is in this one.
So obnoxious, and Bruce Willis is like, yes.
Oh, in that
He asked him
microphone, that
like
like
big old
staff or whatever.
questions, and he's like, "Whoa!" He's like really loud, and he's like, "What do you say? I don't know. What do you think?" And then the music stops. I think it's great.
So deadpan. You know what? I still think that we know how Smokey is. He was putting up a front in front of everyone and pretending to have standards and morals or whatever. But I have a feeling when he went home, he was like, I'm gonna call up Janet Jackson. Let's see what's up. He seems like someone that would be like that.
Maybe, but maybe he just cared too much about his image. I don't know. Maybe he would. I mean, he seemed not to even be attracted to her. Just damn, he cut her up left and right, and she took it on the chin like a
Yeah, she was
champ.
totally fine with it.
She was laughing it off. She's like totally comfortable with herself. I mean, I don't know. I'd say totally, because obviously she's hiding some things. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, she's totally catfishing him. It was a verbal catfish.
Yeah,
it was all over the phone. No,
You know what though? Even before she shows up, like the fact that he was like at the phone talking to her, that felt so 90s to me, because it was a corded phone, you had to be
Right.
wherever the phone was, and it was like it was usually mounted like somewhere near the kitchen, so you
And
had
he
to be like
jokes exactly. He said like old ass phone as he's making the call, because I think he's got a touch tone phone where the dial is actually on the actual headset, whereas
Oh,
their phone was on the wall, so that you had to punch. Granted, it was still it was a touch tone phone, but it wasn't on the handset itself. So
right,
he had to hold the handset in one hand and still dial it on the wall.
right.
Which is, I mean, that's how I grew up, was having that. And I also had a rotary phone too. That would have been even funnier. That would have been even funnier if he'd had a rotary phone.
We had a weird setup at my parents' house. So we had the main phone that it wasn't mounted on the wall, but it was like on the countertop by the kitchen. And that was the one where it's funny to think that the fancy version of those phones was when the buttons were on the handset instead of the base. But yeah, we had a phone that was like that, where you would take it off the cradle and it was on the little handset part. But we also had a line, like a landline that went to the garage, like that just came with the house. Like whoever the previous owner was, he had that put in, and we had the rotary phone in the garage.
Yep.
For whatever fucking reason. So like we never used that phone, but it was there.
Oh, funny. Yeah,
just in case we ever needed to.
Our phone, we had a rotary phone in the garage as well, where the laundry. Yeah, we had our
yep, right above the
dryer.
laundry. Yep.
Yeah, it was right there. It was to the left, and it was like this Batman looking. I don't know if you know what I mean by that when I say Batman looking phone, but it was red. It didn't glow. It didn't glow. It wasn't badass like the Batman 1960s style bat phone, but it was. I always thought of it that way, because it was like this really, really red phone. Okay. And yeah, you could. We mostly took calls there, so it was like, you get called and take it there. You didn't have to actually dial out, but yeah, occasionally if you're out there, you might dial out and be like, yeah, I'm gonna call Pops. And I think sometimes I would do that and call Pops and be like, asking him what time he was gonna come home and if he was gonna make it in time for The Simpsons, because we used to watch the episodes I think it was like Thursday night.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice.
yeah,
Brand
but
new.
dialing on that rotary phone was it's fun, dude. I miss that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, it was. I purposely would go out of my way to like go into the garage to use that phone only because I thought it was so interesting. I was like, man, this system is so archaic, but it was fun to be able to know how to dial on that phone.
Right, I get you. I don't even know like when I was. I think we already had touch tone phones, or at least they were already around. But I think we started off, or I think I started off with the rotary phone,
Hmm.
so it wasn't so it didn't seem so archaic to me. It was like, oh, this is just what it is, and then it got outmoded, and then it was like, oh, okay, now we're doing this. Oh,
With
okay, well,
actual
I remember when we
buttons.
used to do this. Yeah, with actual
Mhm.
buttons. I remember being so confused by the initially by the rotary phone, but once you like knew how to use it, it was like you earned your stripes. Like you already like, yeah,
Right.
I'm one of every I'm like the adults here.
Like my generation, very few knew how to use a rotary phone, and I think my friends knew how just because like that was all I had available. So they're like, "How do you use this?" And I had to kind of show them. I'm like, "You have to wait for it to like rewind back to its default state before you like dial the next number."
Right, right. You have to let it do all its clicks along the way.
Yeah, and those phones too. You were like playing this dangerous game, this almost like roulette with the phone because you had to like use the button to hang up to be able to like switch to another line. So it's like if you held it too long, you would hang up on the call. So you had to like hold it down for like a half a second to like switch to your second line or whatever. And if you wanted to
Mm,
like combine the calls, then you had to like do it twice or some shit. There was like a weird like handshake you had to do with it, but
huh.
that's how you achieve that, is
That's
like
strange.
combining the calls. Yeah.
I don't know if we ever had an extra line there at that pad when we had the rotary phone. I know we ended up getting another line, but by then we already had a touchdown, so I didn't know that. That's tricky. That is
Hmm.
pretty tricky
And if you
shit.
held it down for like a full second, then you would just end the call. So
Bye.
yeah. And it was weird. That was just the way things were. So we didn't think anything of it. But it's like thinking back
Right,
now, you're like, that's such a faulty method.
right. Could have been better.
Yeah, could have been improved upon. But what I really appreciate about this movie, thinking about it now, is like this whole movie takes place in one day. It's just Friday.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All takes place in one day, and the main characters don't really do anything in this movie. They don't really do
Hmm.
anything significant. They're just kind of hanging out in their block this whole day, and somehow it feels like they went on this long journey. Like all they really do
Yeah,
is like you go to my house, I go to your house, then we go to a liquor store down the street, and we just come back and we just hang out in my house. We go to your house. That's like the whole movie.
it is. It is. But like one thing that does happen is there's a change in Craig. And so that's one thing that was brought up in this book called Story by Robert McKee. When it comes to writing a screenplay or script, you want to a character. They say if you're going to just make I don't know, people want to have some sort of change. So you want the
Okay.
main character to somehow go from wherever they were before to being different. Um, whatever that may be, whatever that may mean. So if you look at Wizard of Oz, there's this whole change. At the very end, Judy Garland's character wants to, is appreciative of all the people at home, whereas before she was like kind of resentful or whatever.
Mm.
But and so when you look at something like this movie, um, Craig is at the very least he's scared of this big bully, and there are these insurmountable challenges that they have to face, and it changes them. Or not insurmountable, but seemingly insurmountable. I mean, $200, it's decent coin, especially in '95, I'm sure,
Mm.
but it's still doable, and yet it's tough. They don't neither of them have jobs, and they're just trying to figure it out. So either way, at the end, there's that big shift where Craig faces his fears, um,
Mm.
and then as a
Rises
result,
to the occasion.
yeah, as a result, they get everything that they were hoping they would, which is, he puts that bully in his place. Everybody gets what they, the people that had stuff that was stolen from them, they get it back.
Yeah,
He
that's
wins the
true.
girl. He gets Nia Long. He gets her. He wins the girl. Um, and they get the $200 to pay the debt that they owed Big Worm. So yeah, there's a big change, and so there's like that resolution is there still. So even though he doesn't have a job, which is how the movie starts off, he doesn't have a job, so he doesn't quite have a job yet. Still, either way,
Mm.
there's been a big change in him. He's more confident. He's got his arm around her and everything. He's not afraid to.
True, yeah, because he's kind of feeling down about losing his job, right? He got fired for some bullshit reasoning, and he's just like, man, like I don't got really anything going for me right now. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it may be bullshit reasoning. I don't know. It's kind of left a little. It's left to you to kind of decide whether or not he did steal those boxes or not, because he's not so defensive. He's not like, I didn't
Yeah,
steal that shit. He's like just kind of
true,
letting them
true.
talk about it. So it's like, okay.
Although I believe Red, because Red came later, and I guess he worked at the same, or he works at the place that Craig used to work. It looked like UPS almost, like
Right.
they delivered packages or something. And so
Mm-hmm.
Red either was on his break or he was done with the shift, and he went over to Craig's house, and he was just like, man, we saw that footage or whatever. And he's like, yeah, it did kind of look like you for a second. I think he mentions something like that. He was like, yeah, it's like same build, but like he's like the head was bigger than yours. And so they were just like joking about like how he got fired for someone else stealing the boxes. At least that's what I
Oh,
got.
okay. Yeah, I couldn't tell. I don't know if he said, because I don't remember him saying for a second. I think he said it did look like you, and I was like, oh man. Either way.
Was it him? Yeah, but like you said, he wasn't denying it. You know, he was just like, man, like fire me for stealing boxes. You know, he wasn't really getting defensive about that.
Yeah, yeah. He
He
didn't
just kind
really
of
fight him
accepted
on
it.
it. Yeah, he just took the phone call.
I did want to mention the second fourth wall break that happens in the movie, and that was when Debbie shows back up to grab her purse that she forgot when she came over.
Right.
And so Craig and Debbie go into the house to go get the purse, and then Joy shows up, which is Craig's current girlfriend. And so
Yeah.
you know she's looking for Craig. Smokey, fucking knowing this is some shit that's about to go
Drama.
down, he
Yeah.
sets it. He sets it all up. So he's just like, "Oh, you looking for Craig? Yeah, he's inside. Just go right on in." But like
Right,
Craig's already
right.
walking out with Debbie, and Joy's like, who the fuck is that bitch?" Craig, when he walks out and sees Joy, that's when he glanced at the camera with like that oh shit look on his
Right,
face.
right. Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Oh, I'm in trouble." After that, Smokey is stuck between a rock and a hard place because right around this time in the movie, he mentions his stomach hurt. And you know what that leads to. He goes
Oh,
to
right, right. He needs to go
he
to
goes
the
home,
yeah.
and this dumbass keeps locking himself out of his own house. So he's like, "Mama," you know, like, but no one's answering. So
Yeah.
he goes back to Craig's house, and Willie answers the door, fucking eating like a sandwich or some shit, you know, smacking his lips like usual, picking his teeth. And
Right.
so he
He says,
asks
you're not gonna
Willie
take
if,
it. No, you look like you gotta take a dump in my
yeah,
like
he
a
asks Willie, like, hey, can I use your bathroom? He's like trying to downplay, and he's like, number one or number two?
Yeah, yeah. That's
And
right.
like he wants to know. He's like, nah, because you look like you gotta take a shit. And so Smokey tells him that yeah, he does need to take a shit. And Willie's like, nope, slams the door in his face.
No, not
He's
only
like,
does he say nope, he's like, no, what does he say?
if anyone's gonna stink up this house, it's gonna be me.
Right, right.
I mean, that he basically does what I feel like most people are thinking. Like he just has the guts to be able to say like straight up, like, no, you're not taking a shit in my house. But I'll tell you, Brenda can definitely agree with that scene because she's always just like, she's like, people don't need to be coming over taking shits at my house.
Save the poops for later.
Yeah, exactly. You can take a shit at your own house, not at my house.
Damn.
Man, I always have this fear though of taking shit at someone's house because I think of it like Dumb and Dumber. Like you remember the scene where like she's like,
Oh, of
"Oh yeah, yeah,
course.
just remember." She was like, I hope you didn't go poop because that toilet is known for clogging. So you
And it's
only
too
use that
late.
toilet for pee." And he's just like, "Oh shit!" Like he's already done.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. Yeah.
Luckily, I've never been in that situation where like the toilet wasn't working or like couldn't handle poops or whatever. But
Oh man. That would be a funny one, dude. I feel like you'd survive obviously and it would be embarrassing as shit, but like I think that you would look back and laugh at that and be like, "Dang, that happened to me." that, that really happened to me.
yeah. Well, what about what happens to Smokey? Because he ends up having to take a shit on the side of his own house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that homeless dude,
Oh, the tweaker dude, Azael.
Azale, that's right.
Yeah, he walks up and he's like, Smokey, I'm ready to wash your car. And then he's like, what you doing over there? And so Smokey's like trying to like, he's like, nothing, but still over there. Like, don't come any closer.
Yeah, yeah. And he
He's
puts him
like,
on blast.
yeah, he's just like, I don't want to claim anything, but from where I'm standing, it looks like you're taking a shit. And so he's like, yeah, but like, don't say anything. He's like, no, I ain't gonna say anything. He walks out to the middle of the street and he's like, hey, Smokey over here taking a shit. But I ain't gonna tell anyone else.
He just
I ain't gonna
scampers
tell
off.
anyone else though. Oh man, fucking Azale, that guy. So I think around this time, this is when it takes more of that dramatic turn for Craig and Smokey because of the impending doom with Big Worm getting closer. So they're just kind of like hanging out in the house, and they're scared to go outside, because they're afraid like there's gonna be a drive by or something. Willie actually comes in, no BS, no smacking his lips or anything, and he tells them straight up like, you guys can't be hiding in the house. If you guys got some shit, you guys need to go handle it. But you can't be afraid to go outside. So I think that's when he gives them that heart to heart, whatever. Like, you can't. What you need a gun for? Protection. And he's like, well, the only
That's
protection
right.
you need are your fists. Craig and Craig and Smokey end up going outside. They're like, all right, whatever. We're not gonna hide out in my room anymore. And there actually is a drive by, which is pretty fucking
Mm-hmm.
scary. Oh, I know. I think that's a little bit later. I think they go outside and they're like, oh, there's no drive by. All right, whatever. And then so they're like hanging out in the front yard some more. And this is where the iconic scene happens where Red shows up. He has his shades on,
Mm-hmm.
and he reveals the black eye that he got from Deebo. And that's where Smokey and Craig jump back in their seats and they're like, damn.
Yeah, exactly. That's the scene.
I feel like we still use that gift to this day.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good one. It is iconic.
Before I forget, I wanted to also mention, who the hell is that girl China? It was like Dana's friend or coworker or someone that comes over, but
Oh
man, she
yeah,
was
yeah.
hot
College.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Because they're like, damn, what's her name? And she's like
Trying to spit
China
game at
or
her.
whatever, and then so he's like touching her arm. She's like, oh, get the fuck off me. But yeah, I was like, damn, who the fuck is China? Like, she's cute.
No, she's cute. She's no Nia Long, but
I
she's
wasn't
cute.
mad at
I
it.
wasn't mad at it.
What did you think of the scene where Smokey attempts to steal the $200 back from Deebo because he's like, I guess he's knocked out
Oh my gosh,
at
yeah.
Debbie and Felicia's house. And you remember that whole scene?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, he sneaks in, and then I think it's like I thought it was funny that on that his chonies are straight up like they actually have what looks like tire marks, actual skid marks on the chonies, not like
Not shit stains, but like
not
actual
shit
tire
stains,
marks.
but like tire marks, skid marks, and he's like, ugh, and like he's like grossed out by it. And I thought that was just so funny. It was like not too crazy graphic.
It was implied that it was supposed to be shit, like shit skid marks.
I mean, yeah, that's what it's implied, of course. But I'm like, that's just funny that that's the route they went. And they could have made it actually look like shit stains, but instead they went with like skid marks, like actual skid marks, to show the poop. But
Right,
yeah, I
right.
think that it's just funny how again Azale like hops in as an opportunist, just hops in through an open window,
Randomly out of nowhere, like, what the
just
fuck is he
randomly.
doing here? He
Yeah,
just
exactly.
it's like almost impulsive. Like, he sees a window open, he's just like, why would I not sneak into it?
Yeah, exactly. So he
So
goes.
Smokey's already sneaks in through the window, and he's like going through that whole scene where he's trying to get to the pants, but the underwear's there, and he drops it on Debo's face.
Right.
And then
Nasty.
like, so he eventually picks it up off of Deebo and like drops it to the side or whatever, and that's when Izelle comes in, and they're bickering, wakes up Deebo, so they both bounce, and he puts the straw back, right, the straw that he uses to like lift up the underwear. He puts the straw
Hmm.
back into his big gulp, and
Yeah.
and Deebo takes a drink from it.
Yeah, later
But
on.
he smells the straw, and he
Yeah,
just keeps drinking.
nasty. Yeah, that's disgusting.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I think I could just picture the crowd, like the audience.
yeah.
That was awesome. But yeah, I think after that's when the drive by happens and Smoking Craig narrowly escape, and that I think from that point on, it kind of ends up being more serious, right? Because that was kind
Mm-hmm.
of a scary thing to happen, you know? Like they straight up almost got shot. That drive-by was meant for them and was still
Mm-hmm.
looking for them when they were hiding out in the bed of that truck.
Right. Right. Yeah. There.
You know, obviously the car takes off or whatever when they
Mm-hmm.
can't find Smokey or Craig, and they eventually go back to Craig's house, and everyone's in the front yard because they're like, what the fuck was going on? Like we heard a bunch of noise happening and it sounded like gunshots. And so that, they're obviously scared for Craig and Smokey. Deebo comes over and not Felisha,
Oh, wait,
Debbie.
Felicia's bruised. Oh, no, that's right. Debbie comes over. That's
Debbie
right. Debbie comes over.
confronts Deebo at Craig's house, and she's just like, "Who the fuck do you think you are? You know, like smacking my sister around or whatever." I think Felicia is just kind of trying to de-escalate the situation, and Debbie's not having it. You know, she's just like, "Nah, fuck
Mm.
that." Like, like I'm not letting you get away with this. So he smacks her, and that just sets off Craig. So Craig has to come to her defense. You know, he has to fight for her honor. And
Right.
yeah, this was actually pretty interesting fight scene. Obviously, we've already touched on it a couple times, but Craig, he busts out with the gun initially, and he was getting ready to blast him, but Willie talks him down. He's just like, like just settle it with your fist. And
Mm-hmm.
so Craig hands over the gun, and Deebo, he was packing a knife himself, but he puts that aside so that way they can just duke it out. And Craig actually gets his ass whooped right here, but he gets like a second wind, which was interesting. So he gets like
Mm-hmm.
choked out, and then
Mm-hmm.
he coming back like with even more tenacity and takes out Deebo.
Mm-hmm.
The way they played it up was like it was almost like Craig lost the fight, but then he's like, I ain't done yet.
Mm-mm. Taste this brick.
So it was a nice little underdog story for Craig. He was
Mm-hmm.
getting his ass beat, but what that showed was they showed his toughness because he took that beating. He took everything Deebo threw at him, and he still got up and whooped that ass. So that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And Deebo didn't get back up; like he was out. So it kind of shows like who's really the tougher of the two.
Right, right. Yeah, he didn't pop up like Ice Cube did. He's like, nah, I
Mm-mm.
got more in me. The reality too is that I mean, Debo's never gotten his ass beat. Probably. I mean, I feel like when it's when it comes to somebody who's a bully, it's like they've never had somebody step to them and put them in their place.
Mm.
So he wouldn't even really know how to recover from something like that.
Mm.
Not to mention the fact he got his ass beat. I mean, he got hit in the face with a freaking brick, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that's true. And a trash can and all that, whatever
Yeah.
else Craig could find. But street rules. It's fine, just as long as it's not
Right.
a knife or a gun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is where the last fourth wall break comes in. So after Craig defends Debbie's honor, Debbie goes over to him and says, "You know what? I'll give you a call tomorrow, and then maybe you can come over and hang out because he's already like he's still kind of beat up from that
Yeah.
fight. He's still hurting, but he's actually like I'm feeling all right now if you want to." But she's like, "I'll call you tomorrow,"
Mm-hmm.
and so she ends up like walking off, and he looks at the camera and he's like, "That's right." So I thought that was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course the very end of the movie, Smokey, he gets the money back from Deebo, and he uses that to pay back Big Worm, and he tells him over the phone that he's not going to be selling for Big Worm anymore because he's going to rehab. So he's just saying like he's going to go cold turkey and not fuck with weed anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But then of course, he hangs up the phone and he's like, "I was just bullshitting."
And you know this.
Yep. Typical fucking Smokey. That was the end of the movie. That's a wrap, folks. If you made it to the end of our podcast, then you all owe Big Worm $200.
Every single one of you.
Every single one. Any final thoughts or closing comments?
No, I'm really glad that we checked this out. Like I said, I hadn't seen it from start to finish, and it was a nice trip back to those days in the 90s.
Did you feel like the
Some good
movie
laughs.
held up? Like, was it as good as a lot of people made it out to be?
I think it is. I think it's. Yeah, I think it's good. I don't know. I've never really heard anybody like hype it up like a lot.
Oh
I
no.
just know that my family has really enjoyed it. I mean, my cousins really enjoyed it. So I was like, oh shoot, like yeah, glad I finally gave it a chance.
Yeah, I knew a lot of friends growing up that was like one of their favorite movies. They're like, yeah, Friday was always the movie that everyone could agree upon was a great movie. And
Hmm.
I think for me, what always plays a factor into my enjoyment of the movie was that I do have the nostalgia for it, you know, and I do have experiences that are, of course, not one to one, but like some of the scenes in the movie remind me of my own experiences, and it's just fun to think back on those memories. Um,
Hmm.
some scenes even hit really close to home, you know, like the like the whole like having to deal with the stinky shits.
Hmm. And cereal,
Yes,
not
the
having
cereal, of
milk.
course. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I think the fact that because I grew up with the movie, you know, I always have that nostalgia for it. So it's one of those cases where I think the movie has aged really well. I think a lot of the humor that was in the movie is still relevant and still hits the same today. I think it
Hmm.
holds up really well.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it definitely has that nostalgia. Never having seen it before, I think that it did hit home with some of the memories of what it was like to be in the '90s. I mean, visiting family. We weren't. We would be like in the, I guess, the ghetto. We're in Bloomington,
Oh, you guys were?
and yeah, or we would when we would visit family, we'd be out there. So it wasn't like we were out the ghetto entirely. So we'd walk up
Sure.
the street. We'd mob it. We'd be mobbing it as a bunch of cousins and stuff, and
The
uh,
whole crew.
the whole crew. We put basketball in the street, race in the street. Yeah,
Did you ever
neighborhood
play
kids would come
football in
hang
the
out.
street? Because we did that.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, so that just seeing that with the shoes hanging, of course, on the power lines, it's like, yeah, brings back memories.
Oh yeah, playing basketball. Well, for me, it wasn't so much like. Did you have the friends where you would pull out the basketball hoop and just kind of like set it down
Yeah.
along the curb? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it was always people had either the hoops that were like mounted to the house, or it was
Oh.
like we knew someone where the hoop I think was cemented into the driveway.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I had
Yeah.
a friend that had that. That was nice.
The only problem with that is since it's on the driveway, it's always at a slant, so the ball would just bounce away. You have to go chase it.
Yeah, yeah, that is kind of a bitch.
I thought this movie, even rewatching it before this podcast, fucking great. I was laughing my ass off. I love this movie.
Yeah, no, I was cracking up.
This has been Afflixionados Podcast, episode 13, Friday. Just a reminder, we are available on all major podcast streaming services with new episodes dropping on the first Saturday of each month, 5 a.m. Pacific. Thank you, listeners out there, for joining Michael and I, and we will see you all next time.
I will see you there, or I will see you on another time.
And you know this, man.